Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30. Time to wrap it up for today, and we got some crazy stuff happening for sure. Look at that thing. What did I say in the last update? I think I said that this felt very much like a short squeeze. They're running it up to the mean, the mode, or the midpoint, and it was the midpoint. So that's where they stalled. And you can see the stall go back and forth a few times, and then finally the guys lean into it. So. Uh, Interesting trading. I took a trade on Nasdaq. I'll show you that. But it's pretty much you have to you can't be too aggressive on that thing because you get short too early here. You just get shaken out. And if you try to sell the breakdown, you get run out one, two, three times. You get run out, and they fake you out on the upside too. Try to take it higher. If you're looking for that breakout point, you're looking to get long or get short as it moves. So you're finding yourself just getting crushed. However, if you pay attention, you realize that it's just going back and forth, running into resistance against that midpoint, and you're waiting for if you're looking at the short trade, which we were talking about for a potential retest to that low, you're going to get short against these upper levels for rotations back down. Not super aggressive on the long side. On the long side, I would be waiting for them to break out of this range and then pull a little bit of weight on the upside before you really engage that. And look at that move. That is crazy stuff going on the downside. So I would say that we're starting off. We're still holding in the range. We haven't broken out of the range by any means. So we're still in that range we talked about this morning. We're pretty much in the middle of it right now at the 65s. Watch this lower edge at the 45s. If that comes out, bets are off, and that we'll find ourselves at the 20s and even down to the 10s in no time. So we'll see if they're going to be one of those weak closes. At this point, I would just start off range bound, looking at this as a range bound day. They were up testing the highs. They were down at the midpoint, trying to take it lower. So far, not a whole lot. But I would not be surprised if they try to run it down here and test these lows at the 10 to 20. So I'm going to be looking for that. But starting off range bound, if they start heading lower, I would be looking at buying against 45s, 30s, 20s, and 10s for rotations back up. And if they start trading higher, I would looking for short setups against it. This point a bit lower here at the 75s against the 90s, or sorry, the 5900s, and up here against the 5910s for rotations back and down again. So in the trading in this range, up here against that level at the 5910 to 15, down here towards the 5800s. That's our range we are trading in. So that's where we are. But that was a pretty brutal move to the downside. You try to buy against that, you would absolutely be run over. On the Nasdaq, and this is looks like my trading day today. Man, I'll tell you. So looking at the Nasdaq just to get that over with. Look at that thing right there. I was looking at this first, I know, second. Here's your fake out to the downside. I didn't fall for that one. And then I was waiting for this little run up here. It's like, okay, it happened. And then yes, didn't quite make anything happen. It traded up a little bit more. Then I find it started heading lower. I find I get a decent trade location. I got short, stopped outside this range. So definitely, if they start trading higher, I would be just be wrong and be out of it. So everything, a great trade location, stop on the right side. I went down here, and this little move down here is like this is like $50, and there's a little move here, and then they retraced it, stopped me out. So I got a few bucks out of it. I'm up 46 on 5 contracts right now. They ran it one more level higher, but this is the thing I was looking for right there. I was trying to get short for this rundown, and we've seen that happen before, especially when you have that short squeeze all the way up to the mean. In this case, the mean on the Nasdaq, and they stall here. They ask us sideways, sideways. I get you all confused. You try to go on the short side too aggressively, you get caught. So you kind of had to avoid trying to sell the low or buy the high, and because it's trading in a small channel here, and it is the hardest part because how many times haven't we done that? We sell that low and find ourselves getting shaken out or fade a ton of heat, or we buy the high here, try looking for that breakout to the upside since they've been rallying so hard and find ourselves just in a getting run out on the downside. But as we said early on in the bigger picture, but this looked very much like a short squeeze, and we were looking for a short setup potentially for rotation back and down. That is a directional call. If they start trading higher, after you get that first hesitation and you start going back and forth, now you have at least a range to work with. And if you start trading higher and there'll be continuation, well, maybe it would be worth a long go with type of trade. Or if this, or when this start happening, a short go with type of trade. And I promise I missed this whole thing. So after this happened, I was like, oh, I'm done with it. And I was like, yes, I can't stop looking at it. A little then not it headed lower, and then after they start leaning into it, here you have that potential. Yeah, hop on the short side. Just do that go with trade. Don't think about it because now they are heading lower. So, I'm telling you that this is sometimes you just miss it, right? Yes, we can miss it. So there you have it. On the bonds, though, the bond market is holding around 110.28. Right at the lower end of this range. They did not take it lower, but they haven't really rallied either. So I would just trade it from the short side, looking to sell strength at this point against the 1102s, against that mode at 1110, against the 1114 to 16s for rotations back down. So trade bonds from the short side at this point. And then finally, oil and gold. Not much to say, but gold has just kind of died off. It's been holding in a range all day. They were down here towards this 2670. Now they're up against it 85 or 89s. Have not taken it out yet, so there's no attempt to take it higher yet. At least we'll see what it does in the overnight. But I would just start range bound. Still looking for moves down to the 2670s on gold. And on oil, backing off a little bit, but still holding that 77.40. So not much to say about oil either. I'm just going to hold off on that one until we get past the inauguration and see what the new policies are. We're going to roll oil here, I think on the 17th, rolling into the March expiration. So yeah, we're in February right now. All right, so oil and gold, range bound oil. I would still hold a slight bias to the upside on oil, given that they haven't taken out the 40s, 77.40s, and range bound gold. Looking for a move down to the 2670s on that one. But I would probably want to stay away from those unless excuse me, start moving a little bit better. All right, back to the ES, and as we can see, it's not much has happened. Let's see what happens in that last move to the downside. I'm looking for that retest to the low. I'm not quite sure they're done just yet. So this was a pretty spectacular move to the downside. So one trade on the ES, I got shaken out of that one, and then a few 5 trades on the Nasdaq, and up 46 on the Nasdaq. It's not too shabby, but it could have been a lot better. Stayed with it. But anyway, Nasdaq it's been both on ES and Nasdaq has been quite volatile. So it has been the trading has been real difficult. You had to really get your trade location right, otherwise you'll just get kind of run over. For news for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we get a CPI read at 8:30. We get Empire State reading as well at 8:30. But the CPI is going to be the big number to watch. PPI today was better than expected. Let's see what CPI does. The only caveat here is like oil prices has been up now for a bit, so that may trickle into the next month's CPI reads. We'll see. We have speakers tomorrow at 10, 11, 3 different speakers, or 8 o'clock as well. So 8, 10, 11 who have speakers, and oil report at 10:30 tomorrow. So that's tomorrow's news. And the big news though is going to be that CPI number at 8:30. All right. So we'll wrap it there, guys. So a reasonable day, but also a day full of freaking shakeouts. That's you get in, you get to break even, you get shaken out. There's been us churning it back and forth, and there's no real good trade-off for it. You trade with bigger stops, they just risk more, and when you're wrong, which you are sometimes, your break even saves you. But when you're wrong on that, when you make it bigger and you're wrong, then you're in a loser. So I prefer to be a little bit tighter on the break even and just get shaken out instead of making it too big. Trade location is the key, though. The better trade location you have, the smaller stop you can trade with. So that's the key. So work on that trade location part of it. If anything, that is one of the most important things there is. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. I'll see you back at 8:05 tomorrow morning. You have a good evening. Later.